So how have you been doing since the last time I saw you?
Um, well, I felt like I've been on track pretty well this past 6 months, and everything is feeling great and going great, and feeling pretty actually proud of myself for what I have accomplished so far. But um, I feel like maybe my life took a turn for the worse this past week. I've been real stressed out and depressed and just not really knowing how to cope with life, so I relapsed.
Okay. So was um, there was obviously something leading up to your relapse. So do you want to talk about that or?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been having family trouble, and like troubles with my mom, which those I pretty have learned how to cope with in the best way I know how. But what really triggered me this time to use was my marriage. Uh, Last week, I found out that my husband has been cheating on me, and it's been going on for at least 2 months. 2 months, from what I can gather. And when I found that out, something inside me just snapped. Because I basically went into treatment mostly for him at the time. He wanted me to try to get help so maybe we could, have a normal marriage and everything. So I did, and was actually felt like I was doing pretty good, and I even felt like our marriage was doing better at times. But then I found out he done this, and I don't know, I just couldn't control myself.
So you said you were proud of yourself for the progress that you did make in the last 6 months.
Yeah, I was. But now I feel guilty and ashamed and really crappy about myself because of relapsing over that, and because it definitely ain't worth it now from what I feel.
Right. Okay, so I can see how finding something like that out could make you want to use something so dramatic and drastic like that, such as finding him cheating on you. Stirred up a whole different kind of emotions that you didn't know how to deal with.
Right.
But and it seems like you're really beating yourself up over it.
Yeah, I am. Because I felt like I was on a good track and was doing good, and my cravings wasn't. Of course, I still have them. I will always have them, but I felt like I could control them a lot better. It was getting easier at times.
Right. Well, first of all, you should still be proud of yourself because you have come very far in this program in the last 6 months. You've made a tremendous amount of progress, and your relapse is just a setback. Okay, you've done great, and you should still be proud of yourself. So don't beat yourself up over it. As far as you feeling like you're ashamed and you feel disappointed in yourself, right?
Yes.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your disappointment? Like 10 being the worst disappointment you've ever felt, and 1 being the least.
I would have to say probably an 8.
An 8.
Yeah.
So you're pretty disappointed in
Oh,
yourself.
yeah.
Okay, so what step could you take? Just one step. It doesn't have to be a huge step. What step could you take to bring that from an 8 down to a 7?
Could probably just sit back and think about how far I have come in the past 6 months and how good I have done and not had any mistakes.
Okay. Well, that's a positive way to look at it, because like I said, that's progress, and you should feel good about that. Okay, so what step could you take to bring that 7 down to a 6?
Probably getting more praise from my family and my husband for how far I've come. Because I think they still see me as an addict. Or I know I'm an addict and always will be an addict, but like they still see me as an active addict. It's like I'm still using and I'm not. And I wish that they would at least see that I'm trying and take me seriously.
Okay, so when you relapsed, was it just the stress and the fight with your husband that led to the relapse, right?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other triggers that you've been able to recognize that could make you want to relapse?
Yes, my relationship with my mother gets very difficult at times because she is also in treatment for being an addict. So we try to help each other, but she misuses her medicine, and I know she does. And it becomes very difficult for me because I'm trying to help her, but also I need help and I need the support. And by her doing what she does not make things any easier.
Right. Okay, so how have you, in the past 6 months before you relapse, how were you able to deal with that and cope with that and refrain from using?
If she would start trying to talk about her medicine or her cravings and stuff like that, I would just try my best to avoid the conversation and say, Mom, if you're going to talk about this, I'm going to have to go. I can't fall into this, person that I used to be. I'm trying to be better for myself, for my son, for my husband. And so I would just, if she wouldn't stop, then I would just leave. And I would keep myself busy at the house with my son. I would do more things with him and just mostly just try to keep myself busy so I wouldn't have to think about cravings or wanting to use. I mean, it is a struggle every day, but every day it seemed to get a little bit easier.
Right.
And now I don't know.
Okay, so are there any other triggers that you can recognize?
Money is a big trigger, especially we just got our income tax, and I know exactly where I would need to go get my fix, and it would be so easy because we have extra money right now. Yeah. But I'm doing my best to just fight it and cope with it, and that money is also a trigger.
So whenever you have like your income taxes, whenever you have that amount of money, what did you do in the last 6 months to keep from going out and buying drugs?
If I felt like I wanted to buy something or needed something or wanted a quick fix, I would honestly just go buy something for my son, just to feel like I've bought something worth something.
Yeah.
And that's something that would be useful, just like drugs was to me.
Okay, so you've been able to identify what led up to your relapse. So, like I said before, instead of beating yourself up over it, realize that it's just a setback. Okay, there's nothing you can do to change it, but you can learn from it. What was going on around you at that time that caused you to relapse, and how you can keep from doing that, how you can keep from relapsing in the future. Okay, so what I want to ask you is, if you go to bed tonight and something miraculous happens, and you wake up tomorrow morning and all of your worries, issues, concerns, problems are all gone, and you had what you would consider to be the perfect life. I know nothing's perfect, so that's not realistic, but what would be the perfect life for you? What would that look like?
it would look like not having to deal with the cravings head on like I do. And being, I know I'll always have them, but I know that they can be pretty much gone as long as you keep going forward. And also having a normal relationship with my mother that wasn't just about drugs, and that we could actually be a mother and a daughter instead of, I guess you could have called us drug buddies. Having a normal marriage for one, so we could raise our son like he should be raised and not around drugs, and that's my main priority. And having my family finally accept that I am doing better and that I want to do better and actually just trust me again, that would be my so-called perfect world.
Okay. All right. How close would you say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how close would you say you are to being able to make that happen for you?
Probably, I don't know, 5.
Out of 5? Well, that's not too far behind. Okay, so what steps could you take to get closer to being in your perfect life?
For one, I could learn how to avoid my triggers better, and maybe learn how to cope with stress and depression better than I do, and not beat myself up so much because I did relapse.
Right.
And just keep continuing and coming to treatment and just getting better.
Okay.
And just realize that mistakes happen and I'm a human and we're not perfect.
Right. Okay, so it seems like you've already set some promising goals for yourself and realistic goals. One being that you want to maintain your sobriety.
Of course.
How are you going to be able to continue to do that?
Well, like I've said, avoid triggers.
Right.
Be better about my surroundings and not surround myself around things that would trigger me. Cope better with my depression and my stress levels. Learn how to do things differently besides just thinking that I need to use.
Okay.
And improve my relationship with my husband the best I know how.
That could be another goal for you, just to improve your marriage. Because it doesn't seem like, you found him cheating on you, but it seems like you still want to work on your marriage.
I most definitely want to work it out.
Okay, so how do you think you can improve your marriage? What steps could you take to do that?
We need to work on communication skills, both of us, not just me. We need to learn how to communicate more with one another. And when we argue, I need to learn different coping skills about when we argue, and how to deal with it more than just wanting to go get a quick fix, because I get overwhelmed with being a wife or a mother. And I would like for us to be able to go back and do more activities like we used to do. We used to go on vacations, we used to go, shopping, we used to take our son to the park. Do more stuff like that, more family oriented, to keep my mind